recording, people. Here we go. We got day 8. Let's go, Jared. Cheering him on. The plumber that turned into the judo king. Let's go. Come on. How's everybody doing out there today? How you doing? Day 8. You getting your paper wet? Are you out there having a good time? I tell you, I'm having a good time. Hey, every time I start this video, I got them ravens in their helicopter now flying over. It was the trash can yesterday, then they're building roofs, putting a new roof on, now they're flying helicopters. I mean, you can't catch a break with them ravens, man. They're all over the place doing all kinds of stuff. All right, they're gone. Okay, I'll probably have to edit that out. Unless I can save it somehow. I don't know, we'll see. Well, how you doing? How's that internal locus of control? Are you maintaining it? Are you getting mad at the right people? At the right rate? Well, you shouldn't be getting mad. Well, I mean, mad's okay. You can get mad. But are you stoking that fire? Are you keeping the critical eye in the hole? I was talking to somebody just a little bit ago, and they were saying that they're doing this new business, and it's starting to take off, and they're a little bit excited about it, and they feel a little bit of imposter syndrome. And I said, damn it, don't feel like that. Ain't nobody going to give you nothing. It's up to you to reach out and take it. You got to take it. You got to grab it and hold on to it, okay? Fuck that imposter syndrome. That's just a critical eye telling you that you don't deserve goodness. You don't deserve success. So you know what I said? I said, hey, think about your family, right? Don't they deserve it? Don't they deserve the payoff? That's right. So if you find yourself in that situation, think if you have kids or you have family, does my kid deserve a better life? Yes. Does my kid deserve good? Yes. I deserve to be here. Fuck it. I'm going to take it. Let's go. Okay? That's how you get that critical eye back in the hole. Think about it from a different, point of view. From your child's point of view or your spouse or your girlfriend or whatever. Think about it from their point of view. They deserve it. They deserve to have that trip to Hawaii because they struggled with you through your whole life. Now you're gonna get there and you're gonna say, I don't know if I belong here. Well, get rid of that. You belong here. Take them on to Hawaii. Get them a pina colada or a lava flow at Duke's in Waikiki. Okay, you ever been there? Duke's in Waikiki? Woo-wee, great lava flows. I tell you, them cocktails, they kick, all right? Then you got to get some of that pokey and then go up to the North Shore, all right? North Shore is where you want to be, people. It's the country, but in Hawaii. There's a horse ranch up there, right on the tip of the North Shore. You can go on up there, get yourself a little horse riding, go around the mountain up there. It's beautiful. It's awesome. Do it. Come on. That's what this is all about. All right. Next thing, how's that schedule doing? Are you aligning it with your goals? Align it with your goals, man. Every week on Friday or Saturday or Sunday, check back in with yourself and say, hey, did my schedule get me where I want to go this week? If yes, great. If no, tweak it a little bit. It's okay. Tweak it. Maybe you're in the shower and you're like, only time I had to do watercolor was in the shower. That's okay. There's plenty of water in the shower. You can make that happen, okay? Riding on the bus or whatever you're doing, you're sitting in the car, doing your makeup. If you're a girl, I don't know. Some guys do their makeup in the car, but, I don't think they'd be doing watercolor. Maybe they are. I don't know. It's okay if you do. Do your watercolor. Come on with me now. Skip the makeup. Do the watercolor. Let's go. All right? Just show up to work looking like a rat. You know what I mean? It's looking like, hey, I got my watercolor done. That's what matters, okay? That made me happy. Instead of putting that, pancaking that mess on your face or whatever, getting them fake eyelashes and whatnot. Blow that out. Come on now, let's go. Focus on stuff that really is going to make you happy in the long run. It's going to leave you with an appreciating value instead of a depreciating value. You get what I'm saying, people? Invest in things that appreciate, not depreciate, okay? All right. Enough of that. All right. So, check this out. I'm going to come down here and check this out. We got some stickers down here in the mail call. It's pretty cool. Look at this. Made these stickers. Look at that. Look how cool that is. With that nice metallic Prismacolor hologram and all that good stuff. Die cut sticker. Very cool. And I did one of this. This is my favorite character, Pirate Dick. Look at that. He's like, all hell no. I love how he says all hell no. I remember I was watching Vito's Booty on the biggest problem in the universe, and he said, "Oh hell no! Oh hell! Oh hell no!" And I was like, "Bro, that is the catchphrase of the century right there." All right. I did some of that really cool little cracked ice effect on the finish right there. You can see it in the hologram reflection. Turned out really good. Bam. Then I got the old stable on a transparent little guy, and peels off and is transparent behind him, and then I got my info on the back. You know, that's gonna be my little business card, I think, right there. I just hand these out right there. This is a 2x2 sticker. These both are 3x3 stickers, so you can see the difference, relative size difference or whatever. And here's a paintbrush for comparison. You know, you kind of see how big those are. Now, I'll tell you what, if you want me to make you a sticker, I tell you what, if you want me to make you a sticker, all right, go ahead, give me a shout out. I'm making some stickers for some people right now, but I ain't talking about like if you want, you know, 10 or 25 of these bad boys. You got 100 or 200 at least. You know what I'm saying, people? So that when I put my order in, the sticker people don't laugh at me. What are you doing, buddy? What are you doing? I don't know. I'm just making, you know, 10 or 12 stickers just for shits and giggles. You know what I'm saying? Come on, people. Don't make me look bad with my sticker people. All right? Jesus Christ. Now, I will be posting my whole sticker process in the Discord. Okay? So for my Discord people in Fresh Air, go get some Fresh Air. That's the name of the server. Come join it. Come join up. I'm going to post the whole process of how I did the stickers and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, I like to do all these stickers the hand-drawn feel. You see how that is right there, people? The hand-drawn feel. The little pen and ink. It kind of gives it that organic feel. So I do all the pen and ink, then I scan it in, and then I go ahead from there and make the stickers. And so they turned out really good. And, you know, it's really important to me that any product that I touch has that, ooh, I want that value. Ooh, I want that. You know, it's got to have the, I want that. You know what I mean? And so when you look at it, you're like, oh, yeah, I want to put that on my computer. I got them on my laptop now. Of course, I had to, right? Or you put them on the back of a sign. Don't do that. Keep them. Put them on your stuff. Oh, no, wait. Put them on the back of a sign. I need more advertising, okay? Help me out, people, all right? Go put them everywhere, okay? I'll pretend like I don't know you, but then I'll wink at you and slip you some more stickers, okay? We'll do it like all hush-hush and whatnot, okay? I tried to get them Ravens out there doing it, but they only interested in doing roofing, flying helicopters, and moving trash cans, you know, and how much food I can bring them. That's all they care about. Them loafers, you know? But they're fun. I like them. Okay, see what else we got here. All right, now, I had a great chat with Ryan the other day, Ryan Haarkness. Go check that interview out, man. He's got so many insights about creativity. And, you know, one of the things that really stood out to me about that interview was how many obstacles he had to overcome to be creative. And I don't even think he noticed it, or maybe he did notice it, but he like was a flower that grew out of shit, basically. You know, he's in next to all these weeds, and here he grows up and he's like, you know, attracted to making audio, you know, songs. And you know, how many people are like, don't have no money, and they go out and buy an audio deck to make, you know, satire songs. You know, that was crazy. But he had this burning urge within himself to go and create that music. And he tinkers and is creative with machinery and mechanical products and engines and all kinds of stuff, man. And that's what I'm talking about. When you're creative, you know, you learn this idea of abstract thought control and organization. And that spills over into every facet of your life. So if you're creative in one discipline, it's going to spill over into the other ones. Like, say you're creative in watercolor. Okay, well, then you're going to get creative in cooking if you cook. Or if you're a gardener, you're going to get creative with that. And what would I define as creativity? I would say creativity is using, you know, standard parts to come up with a unorthodox solution. I would say that's the definition of creativity. And it's fun to maximize the output with standard input. You get standard input and you add your little creativity spice. You crack it out of your head and you shake it on there like them Thai chilies. And then you make that a spicy creative solution, and then you put it out there and see how it works. And when it works, it is such a payoff. I don't even know what kind of dopamine hit that is, but it's up there. It's past heroin, I tell you. I ain't never done heroin. I've done, oh, no, I've been in the hospital and had a morphine drip before. That's about it, right? But that was a big, warm, fuzzy bunny, and it's way better than that. So, think about that. Go watch that interview. I'm doing these interviews because I want to inspire people to understand that they're creative in their own life and take a risk on yourself. I want people to take a risk on themselves and invest in themselves so that their life appreciates in value. Okay? I don't want the parasitical equation to burn people out and to basically turn all of their efforts into a waste byproduct that is then sold back to them to reconsume out of their own efforts. You know what I mean, people? That's terrible. What I want is creativity where you are able to scale out the smallest output into this giant wave that helps other people ride on top of the wave, and it elevates not only your lifestyle, but then it elevates everybody else's lifestyle that you come into contact with. That's what I'm trying to do right here, is elevate your lifestyle, okay? By maybe giving you a couple of insights. And that's what Ryan's trying to do. I say, hey, Ryan, give me some nuggets of wisdom, buddy. And he laid them on me. He laid them on us, didn't he? If you haven't seen the interview, go watch it. He laid them on us. Fantastic interview. So go watch it. I got another one coming up pretty soon with Dr. Till, Ministry of the Dude. Super creative person as well. I tell you, man, this guy right here with his music, he fucking knocked me on my ass. All right? And I'm editing it up right now, and I put one of his songs in the ends where you can listen to it. And incredible music. But that should be coming out pretty soon, too. And then, hey, if you guys think I should talk to somebody else that's creative, I don't care what discipline it is. I want to talk to them. If they came up with a new brake pad, or they came up with a new valve for the Toyota transmission, that helps to fix problems or solutions or whatever at a fraction of the cost, I want to talk to them. If they came up with a new mousetrap or whatever, I want to pick their brain and talk about their journey, because what I want you to start to see is all these journeys are the same. They might be in different clothes, they might come in a different package, but they're all the same. So if you can understand that journey and say, hey, I'm going to go on that journey, but I'm going to do it in my own way, that's the key. That's the key. And each one of these people is saying the same thing, but in a different format. This one might be with cakes. That one might be with like ice sculptures. This one might be with sandcastles. This one might be with, laminate production, or figuring out a new printing process for packaging or whatever. All of that is creativity, okay? All of that is reflective of a refined mind. A refined mind elevates lifestyle. That's the ticket, people. That's the ticket right there, and that's what we're all about, all right? So think about that. Think about if there's any people that you've seen out and about that I should talk to. And so drop me a note in the comments or shoot me a note on X or whatever, and let me know. Okay, what else we got going on here? Let me just run through, make sure I think I pretty much said in there everything. Now, today we're going to move on to the demo real quick, okay? And I don't want to hold you too long. I've already done my fair share of preaching. I've been accused once or twice of laying it on thick, but I ain't never had no woman complain yet. Know what I'm saying? All right. But what I want to talk about is the ammunition that we've already gotten. We've discussed the simplified color theory, and we've discussed texture. Okay? Now, we can use both of those, bring both of those together, and create an image. Okay? And that's what we're going to do today, people. We're going to keep it on one layer because we're going to keep it simple. That's the variable we're going to limit today. Now, a normal painting has like many layers, okay? But the many layers, then when they start to come together to the viewer, it becomes complex and overwhelming. And you have to be able to pick through it and decipher, okay, how did the artist put together this image? It's very much like an engine, right? It's a visual engine that when they put it together correctly, the output is the horsepower of excitement that they communicate to you visually. All right, people? And that's what we're trying to do here. So I'm going to go ahead and use the book again, Structure. Now, why I like this guy is because in the Structure by Sparth, All of those shapes on there are simple shapes. So it limits a variable of complexity. It simplifies a variable of complexity. Okay, people? And it's simplified. Simplified shapes that he put together. So I don't want you to worry about the shapes, right? Use simple shapes, because believe it or not, simple shapes put together, if the value is correct and the color is correct, or is in a scheme that makes sense, the image will read perfectly. In fact, more interesting images are simplified because they allow for you, the viewer, to use your imagination to see things that maybe the artist didn't intend to be there. I've painted pictures before and used simplified shapes, and people come up to me and say, "Oh, I really love how you put that dog in there." I'm like, "Dog? What are you talking about? I put no dog." I'm thinking to myself, "I put no dog in there." And they said, "That's my favorite part of the painting." I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's great." So what we're really doing here is we're creating a platform that the viewer can participate with you by supplying their imagination, and it brings the piece of art to life, and it also tailors that artwork to that specific person. That's a very complex thought that I just threw out there, okay? The very complex thought about how to resonate with a multivariable audience and tailor it specific for them, while you let them, the audience, do the tailoring. Think about that, right? Now that's how you scale up without having a whole bunch of overhead in our process. That's the way to do it. Now, let me go ahead and simplify it. We ain't gonna talk about all that, but if you do a photorealistic painting, you don't leave any interpretation for the person who's looking at it to use their imagination. It's like there's no air in the room. It's very stuffy, okay? So the more impressionistic that you create a painting with, the more you invite the viewer to participate with their imagination in the viewing of the artwork. And that's what we're all about here. We want that play. We want to make it special. We want the viewer to feel significant in viewing of the artwork. You get what I'm saying? It becomes a discussion between the piece of art and the viewer. And that's what we want, a little give and take, a little back and forth. We want that liveliness in the experience for the viewer so that it can become special for them, okay? Now, there's many ways to do that. You can do that through the visuals. You can also do it through the storytelling of the narrative, but that's more complex, and we'll discuss that later. A very good example of that is Norman Rockwell. Norman Rockwell did this, expertly. One of the images that jumps to mind is his image of the Thanksgiving dinner. Okay. Now, back in that day, there was a lot of big families, and so everybody can resonate with that experience of that big Thanksgiving dinner. Now, today, there's not a lot of big families that have those Thanksgiving dinners, but every time I look at that image and other people look at that image, they have a sense of awe and a sense of missing out. Like we're on the outside. Like we're a poor orphan on the outside of this family's house, and we're putting our hands and our face up against the glass looking in at the life that we want to have, that we wish we had. And that's what it's all about. That's what when you create that conversation with the narrative, is all about. And like I said, it's more complex, and we'll talk about that later. But that's more of a philosophical discussion. After you develop the tools of execution visually, the shape control, the color control, the value control, all of this stuff, then you put it together and you start to talk about philosophy through your artwork. Okay, another really good one is Ilya Repin. He's a Russian painter. All of his paintings are of narratives. Or Yim Malkun. He's a guy from Taiwan, a master painter. He does tremendous narratives. We'll talk about him specifically because he was my mentor, and we'll talk about him and what kind of paintings he did. But enough about that. Let's go ahead and jump on into this demo real quick. And I already taped this off, people. You got the deal, right, with the tape? Just throw your tape on there and make yourself some boxes, okay? I used this little guy right here just to lay out some squares, and then I had a big square that I made with a bigger square. You get it, right? It makes it go quickly, and it looks professional when you tape it off and then pull the tape off. So that when you go back and look at your sketchbook, you feel a sense of accomplishment and order, okay? What I want to say right now is that the more creative you get, the more discipline and order beg to come along with the creativity, okay? And the reason being is because once you have an output that people respond to in a good way, and you're like, wow, I can't, okay, they all liked it. Like Ryan Harkness did. Like he had that example of with the song when overnight he had 2.5 million people hear his song. And he's like, holy moly, that's awesome. Well, after that comes discipline and organization. Because now you're going to want to really channel your ideas, and you're going to have so many ideas, and you want them to execute in a systematic fashion so that they can continue to get out to your audience and continue to get that nice feedback loop of appreciation. That's what you want, okay? You want that value. So we got the organization here. We got our book, Structure of 3. Now, I'm using these images as target images, people. And when I say that, I'm saying, okay, I'm going to make a landscape kind of like this. And I'm going to use these ideas, but then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use texture, or I'm going to use color, and I'm going to change it up and see if I can't use these as the guidelines to then create my own thing, okay? Now, you can go ahead and use anything you want, all right? You can even use some of these pictures over here. I got this one picture from CK, okay? So we got this picture from CK right here of pipeline on the North Shore of Hawaii. You could use something like that. So maybe we'll use that today, okay, people? So we'll go ahead and put that right there as a little guide. And we'll use that as a guide today. But use something as a guide initially until you get comfortable enough that you don't need a guide anymore. Now, how will you know that you're comfortable enough that you don't need a guide? Well, when you sit down to paint your painting, you don't stop and say, what was I doing? What was I doing? What am I doing, people? No, you have your plan, and you're just executing your plan one step after another, okay? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab my pencil over here. I got a pencil, just my Staedtler pencil. You can see it right there. It's nice fat lead. That's that 2mm lead, okay? Nice fat lead. And we're just going to go ahead, and I'm going to use this image right here. I just decided on the fly. CK, shout out to CK. And look at that. We got the guys looking at the waves out there. They're chilling. They got the guy in the hammock right there. That's North Shore Hawaii, people. How beautiful is that? I think that's back in the 60s maybe. I don't know. We'll have to check in with CK. I'm trying to get him on so we can talk to him. But I'm just going to go ahead and throw in a nice horizontal here. You know, like so. I ain't paying too much attention. And then I'm going to put in a horizontal for the ocean. I ain't paying too much attention. And then I got a couple of lines right here. Line right here. Line right here. Okay, now that's kind of my guides. Now I'm just using really simple shapes today. I almost forgot, you gotta get your spray ball out and wake up your paints. They've been sleeping. They've been sleeping for too long. Y'all been slacking. Come on, get up there. So we spray them off a whole bunch. All right, let me turn this around so you guys can see it. All right. Now, when we're painting today, I want the simplest shapes you guys can come up with, okay? So when you're looking at this bad boy right here, you got one shape right here, you got one shape right here, and then you got one shape right here. Those are the 3 background shapes. And in the foreground, you're gonna have a tree, a tree, a tree, okay? And what we're gonna do is we're gonna utilize our 2 tools that we learned about the past couple of days, one being the color, and the other being the texture, okay? And so I'm just going to use a really simplified version of the toilet paper trick with the texture today, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get my big brush real quick, and we're going to go ahead and set the anchor point of the grass. Oh, you guys can't see that. Well, I tell you, I got the ravens out there now doing lawn care. Today's the day for raven. They just a busy little birds over there. I don't know if you can hear that raven with the weed whacker. I see him over there. I think he's wearing his bright green shirt. Got Raven, weed whacker Raven. All right. So we're just gonna go ahead and key in on this grass right here, okay, people? So I'm just gonna pick a very simple color, and this is what I want you to do. Simplify the colors. I'm just grabbing, I know it looks like it's a whole bunch of colors in there, but just simplify it on out, okay? We're just gonna go ahead and paint it on there. Can you see that? Yeah, you can see that. Let me push it up a little bit. Got the picture right there. We're just gonna simplify the colors, okay? I'm just gonna use get the brush wet and run it over the dry paper really quick so I get that texture, okay? Now look at that, all right? We're just gonna call that the initial color, okay? Now you might wanna darken it up just a tad, so I'll grab a little bit darker green. And what we're gonna do here is we're gonna do that wet on wet technique, okay? So we got the wet on wet, just right there. And that's gonna give that one layer of grass some texture, okay? We're just gonna let it do its thing. We're just gonna let it do its thing, all right? Now, right here, you can see in this back shape right here, we got white, we got the blue of the ocean, and we got the wave right here, and we got white, okay? So this white is gonna be one shape, this white is gonna be one shape, this blue is gonna be another shape, and then that white right there will be a third shape. But I'm gonna put these two white pieces together, okay? So what we're gonna do is we always leave the white alone first. So we're gonna take and we're gonna make this blue shape, okay? Now, before I go any further, we're looking at this grass real quick, okay? So we're gonna take the toilet paper real quick, because it's dried a little bit. We needed it to dry a little bit and kind of sink down into the paper. Now that it's dry a little bit, you can tell it's dry because it's starting to fleck. The pigment is starting to fleck like salt and pepper. Can you see it's starting to pit out in the paper? See it's pitting right there? Pitting, I'm saying P-I-T-T-I-N-G. It's pitting into the pores of the paper, okay? So when you see that, it's at a good moisture for you to manipulate it. So we're just gonna take the paper towel or your toilet paper, whatever, and we're just gonna go ahead and put texture in there like that. Put some texture in there like that. Give that grass some texture. Okay, people? Alright. So we got that drying now. We're gonna leave him alone for a second, okay? So we're looking back up at our picture. We're gonna go for our blue now. I'm just gonna grab some normal blue, Corellian blue, maybe a little turquoise in there, and then we're gonna try and paint this section right here in pieces. So we have that one layer right there. Get a little bit more of this blue. One layer right there, and then we have that big long strip in the back. Now you'll notice I'm painting through them trees now. You ain't got to worry about that because the trees are going to be a darker value later. Now we haven't talked about values yet. We'll probably do that next. We'll talk about values. And then I got this wave right here, so I got to go ahead and... Now I got the Ravens firing up their car out there. I tell you, this is a busy hub of Ravens today, people. I just can't catch a break today. You know what I'm saying? And anyway, you know, we'll do what we got to do. We'll hurry it up. So I'm going to paint this right here. I'm going to look back down and at my picture and say, yeah, it looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. All right. So now that looks like a wave. Okay. Check that out. Now, I almost put that in my coffee. Thank goodness I got my straw that everybody be making fun of me about, okay? I didn't need the bad water though. I didn't put the watercolor in my coffee and then drank it all down and give me some sort of candium cancer in my colon or something, you know? I tell you, some days you just gotta fight through it, people. We fighting through it today. Fighting through it. It ain't always roses and whatevers, okay? All right. So then I don't even know what color that sky is, but I know it's not really blue because I got the blue sitting right there and the sky's above it. To me, it looks kind of like a green or something. So I'm just gonna get some of this yellow ochre and I'm gonna mix it kind of with this blue gray that I have on that I just have laying out on the palette. We're just gonna make ourselves a gross little sky color because it looks a little bit gross right there. All right. Then we're just gonna go ahead and put it in there like so, and we're gonna leave a couple spaces open for clouds maybe. And then we're going to go ahead and get in on that top line. Remember I talked about wanting to make some edges soft. Well, you want that top line on that water in the very background to be soft. So you want to run your wet brush over that line and help it fade into the sky. You want it to fade into the sky. Okay? And what that does is it gives the illusion of distance because it's far away, okay? Because things far away are softer. They're more blurry, aren't they? You know, when you're getting older, you don't even know what's blurry and what's not blurry. I wish them Ravens would bring me some glasses. I'm just kidding. All right, so now we're looking pretty good. All right, we got the grass in the foreground. We got the foam right here. We got the wave with a little bit of, oh, that's probably too much foam right there. You see that right there? So I'm just doing a check. And I'm looking right here, and look at all this foam I have, and there ain't very much foam right there. So let's go ahead and grab a little bit more blue, come in here and correct that. All right, people? Now you can always adjust it however you want to. Maybe you wanted the wave to have that nice feather, because that's what happens to waves, right? All right. So now, we got our grass in the foreground, we got our ocean, and we got our sky. Looking pretty good, looking pretty good. But our grass needs to be the brightest thing in the world. All right, and I'm looking on this thing right here and I'm saying, okay, well, it needs to be brighter. How can it be brighter? I know it needs to be warmer, because things that are closer to you are warmer. As they go further away from you, they're cooler, okay? So this is the order of warm to cool. You have to have warmer in the front, cooler, 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 cooler. Now, I know also the brightest thing is closest to me. So because these whites of the foam are so bright, they're going to be pushed closer to my face, and I need them to be pushed back further away from my face. So I need to cool them down. I need to cool that white down. So I'm just going to take a little bit of blue, a little bit of this purple that I have. It's very light in color, and I'm just going to run it over it, okay? Push that whiteness back, that value. The value's too bright. I'm going to push it back into the background, okay? And we might just leave part of that wave. You know, we might break a rule here and leave part of that wave really white so that it kind of gets a little bit of attention. Like, see how it's wider right there? Oh, you can't really see it on the camera. Here, let me darken it up even more so you can see it on the camera. We got some of this right here. Go ahead. Now you can see a little bit better. So we got that foam in the foreground, and then we got the wave. Maybe the wave is catching the reflection of the sun really good. We don't know. Okay? But most likely it is. If you've ever been out in a pipeline, it catches the sun. But we need to still turn this up right here. Turn this grass up and push it closer to our face and make it more prominent, so that the ordering of the foreground, midground, and background is correct. Right now it's too easily competing with everything else, and one of the ways that we do that is we make it warmer. We also increase saturation of the color, okay? So now I'm checking to see how dry we are, because I don't want to mess up our texture, right, people? So now I'm going to grab a medium brush because it doesn't have a lot of water. I don't want to put a lot of water down so it messes up all the first layer of texture that I have. And I'm just going to grab some yellow. Just grabbing this yellow right here. This is just lemon yellow, bright yellow. Check that out. Boom, yellow, nothing special. Well, I mean, it is special. And we're just going to go in here and do some dry brush. Just run it over like this, like we don't even care, right? The more you care about watercolor, the worse it turns out, okay? You have to not care about watercolor. You have to be a little sloppy, a little bit, have a couple shots in you, be a little drunk a little bit. Well, not really, but you got to act like it, okay? Because if you try to be too perfect with watercolor, it's going to come out and look like you done tried too hard. And as we all know, if you try too hard, you never get the girl, okay? We want to get the girl. The girl right here is the painting. We want the painting to look nice, all right? Now, before we go and set in the thing that's going to pull this whole thing together, which is the trees right here, it's going to pull this whole thing together. I want to do one other thing and make it a little bit darker next to that white of the wave, okay? So I want to grab a little bit of this cobalt blue and just come in here and put it right like that, okay? Because that's what's going to really set that wave off. And then I want to soften up the edges over here, okay? All right, people. So I just got a little bit of water. Wet water. Don't get the dry water. The dry water ain't gonna do nothing for you. You gotta get it when it's wet. That's a little watercolor humor there for you, folks. Alright. So now we're sitting here looking at that wave. We're like thinking, okay, that looks pretty good. We got the grass in the foreground. It is in the foreground clearly. It's turned out high enough in saturation and in temperature. We're happy about that. Okay? And now I'm trying to check and look at my painting and see where the wet spots are by getting the reflection. Okay, so I think we're good to go now. Now I'm going to go ahead and grab some of this black. Get some of that black in there. I'm going to go ahead and squirt it because it fell back asleep. He wasn't being used, so he fell back asleep. So you got to squirt that bad boy up. And grab some of that black, okay? Now I'm looking at this picture, and it's not really black, but it has some warm colors in it, like a red right there, or yellow, or whatever. So we're gonna go ahead and have some black, like so, and we'll put some of this raw sienna in it, maybe a little bit of red, maybe a little bit of orange, because I ran out of raw sienna. So we're gonna put a little orange in it like that, okay? Now we're just gonna go in here and add some of the trees, like so. And that really is gonna, excuse me, pull together the painting and give that effect that we are at the North Shore in Hawaii. We're chilling there. We're getting ready to get a pineapple, okay? We're having a good time, all right? We're gonna frame this up like it is in the image. It's gonna look all nice. Now I really want to get that guy on the hammock in there too, because I love that, right? And just relax when you do it. Have a good time. Take a deep breath. You know, whatever. Let the watercolor work for you. Let it do its thing. You know, let's put that palm tree in there. Just go like that. You know, go ahead and get some of that palm fronds. And I'm not really trying to stick too close to the picture. Just trying to do my own thing here, but use it kind of as a guide. You know what I mean, people? Use it as a little bit of a guide and keep it going. So we got the tree, we got some shadow maybe, we got the palm frond going. Grab the guy in the hammock, just go ahead and put him in there. Just simple shapes, just make a triangle. Don't try to make it a hammock, just try to make it a triangle. If you make it a triangle, you can't lose. None of them ravens again, people. But just make it a triangle. Now I can already tell that it's going to dry a little bit too light, just because of experience. So I'm going to go ahead and mix up a little bit darker color and just add it in certain spots. So try to darken it up just a little bit. Just a little bit. Just like so. And just let the water kind of run down where it wants to run, because it's going to make a nice gradation in your watercolor painting, okay? Maybe blur some of these out. If you see too much of one thing, like too long of a hard edge, you want to go ahead and give that hard edge a little bit of variance. You want to soften them up a little bit. Or if you see too much of one color, you want to kind of give that color a little bit of variance and change the hue a little bit. Make it warmer or cooler, okay? Now in the foreground, I'm going to do something fun. I'm just going to go in here and I'm going to grab some grass, a little darker value of grass, okay? I'm just going to mix up a little bit. Going to put some of this green over here with a little bit of the yellow. Kind of warm it up just a little bit more. And I'm just going to come in here and put in some just some grass touches, okay, people? Just some touches of the grass, just to give it a little bit of texture in the foreground. And you can even grab your other brush and do a little splatter action. That's always makes it look real nice. I love the splatter action, especially with watercolor, because it just seems to fit the medium so well. Okay. And we'll just go ahead and call that done. Now, the way we executed this, we used the picture as a guide, okay, people? Then we went ahead and used simple shapes to do all this. And we used our texture technique for the grass. We used our wet on wet technique for the clouds and for the wave. And then we went ahead and just used a darker value as a layover for the trees. And that's it. That's it. That's all you got to do. And you got yourself a nice little sketch of Hawaii. Now, it's really exciting when that happens, okay? And you look at it and you're like, okay, great. Now the true test is Can you walk away for an hour and come back with fresh eyes and be like, still have that same excitement? That's how you test it. Now let's see if that happens for you people, okay? And have fun with it. Find something to target. Find a target that you can aim at with your imagery. Use very simple shapes. Use the texture. Use the wet on wet. And just have a good time doing it, okay? Just relax. Smoke yourself or whatever you got to smoke. Eat a brownie. Drink a tequila. Whatever floats your boat. Whatever fits your situation, okay? And have fun with it. Get out there and let's have a good time, shall we?